Hello and welcome back. Today we are looking at the recap of anime titled as Erased. In the year 2006, Satoru Fujinuma is a 29-year-old struggling mangaka in Chiba who occasionally experiences a phenomenon called as revival. When a fatal accident is about to occur near him, he is sent a few minutes back in time to prevent it. He used this ability to save a boy from a runway track, though he is hospitalized for a few days as a result. As he recovers, his co-worker Airi Katagiri praises him for his life-saving efforts. Later, he is visited by his mother Sachiko, who reminds him of an incident that happened 18 years ago in their hometown in Hokkaido. An adult named Jun Shiratori, nicknamed as Yuki, who Satoru had trusted, was arrested for the kidnapping and murder of 3 local children, 2 of which were Satoru's classmates. The next day, as Satoru experiences another revival, Sachiko takes note of a man who seemingly attempts to kidnap a child. Looking into the matter, Sachiko deduces that the man was the true killer from 18 years ago. But before she can inform anyone, she is murdered in Satoru's apartment. Just as Satoru discovers his mother's body and is accused of killing her, his revival sends him all the way back in 1988, when he was a 10-year-old elementary school student in Hokkaido. As Satoru becomes bewildered with the situation he has been put into, he finds comfort in being able to see his mother again. Realizing being sent to this period by revival is connected to Sachiko's future murder, Satoru takes notice of Kayo Hinazuki, one of his classmates who were killed by the serial kidnapper, noticing a bruise on her leg. Upon the suggestion of his friend Kenya Kobayashi, Satoru reads an essay written by Kayo, which further hints at her troubled life at home. Wanting to understand Kayo more, Satoru decides to invite her to his birthday party, hoping to change the future so that she will not be killed. During an ice skating race against a classmate, Satoru holds back from winning to avoid inadvertently trying to change the future, resulting in angering the classmate and disappointing Kayo. After learning that Kayo's birthday is on the same day as his, which is March 2nd, Satoru deduces that she will be abducted on March 1st. As the abduction happened in March but before her birthday, Satoru spends some time with Yuki, still convicted that he is not the kidnapper. Afterwards, Satoru finds Kayo beaten up in her home shed, learning of the full nature of her abusive relationship with her mother, Akemi. The next day, Satoru speaks with his teacher Gakko Yashiro, who explains how he has suspected Akemi of abuse for almost a year, but he hasn't been able to find proof to convict her. Later, Satoru stands up for Kayo when she is accused of stealing class's lunch money, before taking her up into a mountain to show her a frost-laden Christmas tree. With the help of Sachiko, Satoru manages to invite Kayo out with him to a local science center. During the outing, Satoru feels a sense of deja vu, becoming worried that he is repeating the same things. After March 1st, the day Kayo originally disappears passes out without incident. Both Satoru and Kayo are able to celebrate their birthday the next day. With Satoru confident that he has managed to change the history, the following day, however, Satoru is shocked to find Kayo has not come to school. As Satoru becomes angry that he was not able to make a difference about Kayo's disappearance, another schoolgirl goes missing several days later. After witnessing Akemi throw out Kayo's belongings, Satoru suddenly finds himself back in 2006, still under suspicion of Sachiko's murder and forced to go on a run from the police. Satoru soon comes across Airi, who is his co-worker friend, who believes him to be an innocent and lets him stay at her house, where Satoru learns the details of Kayo's disappearance did change slightly because of his actions. The next day, as Satoru investigates as much as he can, Airi stops her manager from reporting Satoru to the police. Later that night, after helping Satoru hide elsewhere, Airi receives a text from Sachiko's phone before becoming trapped in her house fire. Now, before moving further into the story, I would request you guys to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because if you are interested in anime, manga or manhwa content, then this is the right place for you. So if you are interested, then definitely subscribe to Weeb. Moving back to the story, now coming across the burning house, Satoru rushes in to rescue Airi, who slips her phone into his pocket before manager takes over the rescue. Finding the message left on Airi's phone, Satoru calls a number that Sachiko had left behind. arranging a meeting with journalist acquaintance of hers named Sawada. Sawada tells Satoru about the last phone call he received from Sachiko, in which she claims to know who the true kidnapper was but was unable to tell him before she was killed. He also explains the reported details surrounding Kayo's death, noticing Yuki's framing matches with another kidnapping incident in a nearby town, and deduces that true kidnapper was the one who killed Sachiko. While Satoru looks up at Sawada's finding on a kidnapping incident, including a list of previous suspects, Sawada goes to hospital to meet Airi, only to discover that her mother has swapped places with her so that she can prove Satoru's innocence. Then afterwards, Airi meets with Satoru again, informing him of a mysterious man named Nishizono who may have been responsible for the fire. But the police arrives over there and arrests Satoru. As he is taken away, Satoru spots the man he saw leaving his apartment on the night of Sachiko's murder. Determined not to let things end the way they are, Satoru successfully triggers his revival through the sheer willpower, returning him to February 28th of 1988. During school the next day, Kenya confronts Satoru about Kayo's situation at home, admitting that he has known for a while about the domestic violence and offers his assistance. Following the birthday party on March 2nd, Satoru throws a rock through Yuki's window to bring about the police, providing Yuki with an alibi for his whereabouts. Afterwards, Satoru seeks out Akemi and comes close to pushing her down some stairs, but is stopped by Kenya, who convinces him to choose a different course of action. Instead, Satoru decides to abduct Kayo with her permission, taking her to an abandoned bus to hide out for a few days until she is confirmed to be safe. On the night of March 3rd, however, an unknown intruder enters the bus while Kayo is sleeping. Kayo manages to hide from the intruder, who exits the bus, leaving behind a footprint on a box he kicked. The next evening, as Yashiro goes with some people from the Child Consultation Center to investigate Kayo's house, Kayo tells Satoru and the others about the previous night's intruder. Looking into a rucksack that was left behind, they find tools that Satoru recognizes as the one used to implicate Yuki for Kayo's murder, as well as brickweed presumed to belong to the killers. Realizing he is still stuck in the loop of abduction murders, Satoru takes Kayo to spend the next night at his house, where Sachiko has been expecting them. The next day, Kayo has her first home-cooked breakfast in her life, leading her to start crying. Satoru and Sachiko later accompany Kayo back to her house to confront Akemi. As Akemi reacts violently to accusation of Satoru and Sachiko, she is caught red-handed by Yashiro and the consultants, who suggest that Kayo to be taken in custody. Just as Akemi prepares to storm off the police, she is approached by her estranged mother, who regrets not being able to support her after having her divorce her abusive husband and raise Kayo on her own, leading Akemi to lament her own actions. With Kayo going off to live with her grandmother, Satoru turns his attention towards the other two potential victims, Hiromi Sugita, his classmate, and Aya Nakashita, a student from the neighboring school. While keeping a watch on both Hiromi and Aya, Satoru discovers a stash of candies in Yashiro's car when being given a ride home by him. Later, Satoru goes with Kenya and Hiromi to inspect the bus, the contents of which has now been removed. Satoru and his friends approaches Aya and despises some initial residents. She starts joining them after their hideout. Later, Satoru shadows Misato Yanagihara, who has kept to herself since being accused for framing Kayo. She seemingly disappears after going to the bathroom. Satoru then notices a truck belonging to Yuki's family leaving the scene, as he asks Yashiro to follow it in his car. Along the way, Yashiro reveals himself to be the killer, and he realizes that Satoru was the one thwarting his plans. He explains that he used Misato as a bait to lure Satoru into the stolen car, which he then rolls into a frozen lake with Satoru trapped inside. Following Yashiro's attempt to kill him, Satoru wakes up in a year 2003 after spending 15 years in a coma. His body continues to grow and his mother cared for him daily. However, he has lost his memories of past events, and Satoru is visited by Kenya and Hiromi, as well as Kayo, who has become Hiromi's wife and mother of their baby. Some of Satoru's memories begins to return due to his friends' visits. Later, he meets leukemia patient named Kumi, who is about to undergo a surgery, as well as Yashiro himself, who changed his name to Nishizono and became a politician. 2 days before Kumi's surgery, Yashiro takes Satoru to a rooftop where he confirms Yashiro's suspicion that he has regained his memories. A flashback shows that Satoru's memories returned after visits from Kaio, and he told Kenya and Hiromi that Yashiro was the killer. Back on the rooftop, Yashiro tells him that his past crimes have already passed the statute of limitations and he cannot be arrested. He reveals that he has arranged to kill Kumi with a sabotage IV drip and to frame Satoru for her murder. Yashiro then threatens to throw Satoru from the roof and make it look like a suicide. However, Satoru calls Yashiro's bluff, stating that Yashiro cannot live without him. This seems true when Yashiro initially stops Satoru from rolling his wheelchair off the roof, but however, Yashiro lets Satoru drop and prepares to commit suicide himself. He then discovers that Satoru has been safely caught up by his friends and Yashiro is finally arrested for attempted murders. Several years later, Satoru has become a successful manga artist, and one day, surprisingly, Satoru encounters Airi under the same bridge where they earlier used to sit, which was the same place where he disappeared during his last revival. The end. And that's for today's video, guys. That was the video about Erased Anime Summary or Recap. What are your thoughts about this video? What are your thoughts about this anime? Let me know your thoughts about Erased Anime in the comment section down below, and if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I post daily anime content about top 10 top 5 listings, anime reviews, recommendations, new series and all sorts of anime content on daily basis. So if you enjoyed, please subscribe, and that was it, and I will see you in the next one. Sayonara.